of his dad, 1976 world champ, who sadly passed away back in 1993. Of James, himself a very talented commentator too, with the great Murray Walker back in the days. So Ubergang just getting a little bit of a margin here, only 0.4 of a second as they scream their way down to turn one. Morris looking down the inside of the squirming Tim Macro.
And Flack there at the inside too. Oh, there's a bit of a touch again.
That's Morris, we know. Fair bump, play on.
Yep.
Back to second, and now we pick up where we were in race one earlier today.
I think Paul could actually see Adam Ubergang there, just getting that little bit of a gap up the front. He's like, I don't want him to get away.
No way.
I want to stay with him.
Check it out. Nothing between them. Down to the turn 6 hairpin. Morris will try the classic switchback here, and again, the left front picking up on Adam Ubergang's car.
Now, these two guys, even though Morris had only just gotten past Pingle, they've actually just pulled that little bit of a gap to them now in third spot. In that last half lap, they've pulled that gap there. So these two obviously have got their cars set up really well. On the long runs, the car really doesn't, I guess, take off until about sort of 6 or so laps into the race.
Here's a replay down at turn 6. Look how close this was. It was behind.
Oh,
it's Macro.
that's why.
We didn't see this, so this has happened behind. So Macro spins his way out of third, or gets assistance down the field. He's now in 18th position. So not seen by us. As now a challenge for the lead now. Morris goes back down the inside of Adam Ubergang to retake the lead. He's a long way out wide. Brings the team territory entry back and shuts the door in front of Adam Ubergang.
Well, with these two fighting again, you're going to see Pingle and Abela and Chamberlain coming back.
Thumbs up again. Maybe that was to us or to the mirror of Paul Morris. It's refreshing to see, isn't it? Two guys having a good scrap out on the track. And a lot of respect between the two. Yeah, they'll trade paint, they'll have a good time, but nothing. I'm going to touch plenty of wood here before something goes wrong. Yeah. Intentional out there.
Don't put the commentator curse on them.
I'm good at that. Turn 7. On lap 7 of this 12-lap race. 2 more to come tomorrow. Well, the crowd up against the fence. They're loving what they're seeing here in the Aussie racing cars. And well, they might.
So we've got a bit of a 27.8, 28.0 for Ubergang. So Pingle's slowly pegging them back.
How much difference would the restrictors on these make on the cars, though? If they're
Here we go.
away.
There's a bit of bump drafting here. They can see the guys behind. This is smart. This is very smart driving. They can see the guys behind getting a bit closer. They want to work together and get away from them so they can have a race like they had in race 1.
He was playing knock-knock. Who's there for a moment? Down inside, makes the pass, and this time they're side by side through turn 1. A great part of the course. We should move our commentary position down there tomorrow for race 3 and 4. So again, Morris fills the mirrors up of the Ubergang transport entry. Up to turn number 5 they come. 5 to go. Chamberlain, the defending champion from last year, sitting back in 5th position at the moment. And this is what he's doing, racking up top 5 positions. That's why he's leading the points once again in 2015. Well, here's a view looking back over Ubergang's shoulder.
I reckon they've done this camera now because they saw how close they were in the first race. Great view. If we can get to see Paul Morris getting up there behind him down the straight for a bit of bump drafting, it'll be a sensational camera angle.
Maybe Morris will give us a wave next time. We come down to the final turn and onto this 1.1k straight. Aussie racing cars built for Darwin's Hidden Valley Raceway. Oh, Ubergang just found a hole at the end of the curve there. Would certainly wipe off a little bit of speed. As here comes Morris. He's like a shark, isn't he?
Top gear. Now they're starting to stretch the legs out a bit.
Absolute carbon copy of a lap before. That's okay, Paul, Adam says. Oh, wait. Still 3 to go as they slide their way out of turn 1.
Well, let's be fair, nothing happened till the last lap. So
last 100 metres in race 1's case. And there it is. You can see this is what Ubergang did before as he goes for a long look down at turn 5. He'd have a lap where it was a couple of tenths quicker, then he'd cool off, then he'd come back.
Now look at how much Pingle has just gained on them. Oh! Ubergang locking up the left front there. Morris really tight on the inside, very close, almost contact. Chamberlain there sitting back in 5th spot.
He's behind James Abella as they come around the back. The young fella that's doing a bit of GT3 Porsche racing this year, between some Aussie racing cars as well. Great breeding ground for up-and-coming stars as they come out of karts, similar like karts with a roof, aren't they?
Absolutely, they are, and they drive very similar. It's quite a good stepping stone because it does get you used to changing gears and obviously running on the big tracks that most of the other classes race on, but still in a car that's probably halfway between a go-kart and a normal-sized car.
So we're jumping on board with Pengel now, who's suddenly in this. And he's looking down the inside of Ubergang. The two in-car camera drivers almost coming together, giving us some great pictures through turn 1. And now Pengel likes the idea of second place.
I think actually Pengel took Adam Ubergang there a little bit by surprise. I don't think Adam knew he was there because he was quite a bit behind the previous lap. So he certainly knows he's there now.
So a 3-car scrap on lap 10. Leaderboard on the screen tells us the story. So on board with Pengel up to the hairpin. The understeer of the car going through. It's an aggressive turn in, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's why he's actually using first gear to actually get the car turned. A lot more understeer through there if you run second gear, taller gear, probably better on the tyres. But he's obviously hasn't got an ideal handling car at the moment, and he's have to just a little bit nervous there on the entry to turn 10.
Oh dear.
Another grass fire here.
And we've seen a few of them here this weekend. Hopefully we can keep it going here. This will be 2 to go when the leaders come to the start-finish line, which are at now. It's hard to believe we come to this part of the world and see fires when we're used to seeing rain and snow in some parts. Look at Ubergang knocking on the door once again. Morris's hand comes out once again down at the bottom corner.
I said to Paul earlier, I said, you better be careful when you hand out, your glove might fly off. So he's loving this. He loves this sort of racing, Paul. He's a racer by heart. And, you know, everyone's always had this perception of Paul being the dirty, dangerous dude, but he certainly isn't. You know, I've done a lot of racing against him, and he's very, very fair when it's obviously, you know, if you're unfair to him, he'll be unfair to you, which is fair enough. But if you race well with him, he's as good as anybody to race against.
I think in a lot of cases, it's other drivers, particularly the young ones, that get intimidated by him, and they put themselves under too much pressure. They react, don't they?
Absolutely, you know, and you know, you've got to earn respect in any sort of form of motorsport, I believe. And if you're new into it, you know, you've got to treat everybody as you want to be treated. If you come in and start being gung-ho and trying to smash everybody off the road, well, they'll feed it back to you.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we're seeing it here. He's doing a great job here. Oh, Ubergang, they're just locking up. Morris closing that gap, coming down for the last run onto the straight. I reckon you'll see Paul, he's just lacking a little bit down the straight this race compared to Adam leading the race. And I think you're going to try and see Paul get in front if he can, because he hasn't got the power to pull out and pass him before the start-finish line coming down to get the checkered flag. So I think you're going to see Paul push on here in this lap and try to get in front of him and maybe even pull a small gap before coming onto the straight.
It's 0.4 of a second, the difference in the lap times last time by. The final lap of race 2 of the Aussie Racing Car Super Series, the 3rd round of their 2015 championship.
We've got a bit of lap traffic coming up here too. If they catch that, they could make it very interesting.
I wonder if they'll catch it before we get to turn 8 and 9, down the hairpin. The likes of Bowler and Rinken, that should be some of the first cars that will be lapped, if we get to that point anyway. So it's not over yet. The run down to turn 7 for the final time.
Oh, there it is there. Don't be surprised if you see Paul Morris have a good go at the inside coming onto the straight, if he can get the run out of here. Still a little bit too far back, I think.
And here we go. He's done it. He puts him under pressure, and the dude swings on by. Now watch Pengel, because this isn't over. These two come together. It's not over, and Pengel could be the big winner here. The run to the finish once again, and watch Pengel, who'll probably get second here at least. And to the line, it's going to be Morris that wins. Pengel does get second. It's only 100th of a second. Ubergang and all of that goes back to 3rd position. James Abella will get 4th. He was next in the line there. Potentially got himself. Even still, they shake hands. 2 guys, maximum pressure. And Paul Morris becomes the 8th different winner in the Aussie Racing Cars in 2015.
I had that sense, I don't know, I just had a sense that Paul was going to have a go coming onto the straight. It is a spot that if they're unsuspecting for that happen, they'll leave the door open to try to get the run onto the straight, as Adam did. Paul stuffed it down the inside, ruined his run, got the win.
Amazing. Race 2, just like race number 1, went right down to the wire. It was Paul Morris this time. Picks up his first win in the Aussie racing cars. Brendan Pingle got second. Look at the margin there. Only 0.09 of a second. Ubergang was third back to Abella. Chamberlain, Flack, Duckworth, Walsh, Miles Bond and Freddie Hunt made up 18 positions to get into the top 10. Over the pace to Griffith, Melton, Ford, Woods. Down to Tim Macro, got spun around early. And Grant Ludby in 20th position in race 2 of the weekend here.